Hello everyone, good evening, and welcome to WDW Opinion Live. My name is Conor Brown. I'm a lifelong Disney fan who's been visiting the parks for the last 20 years, and I'm also a former cast member, so I know what it takes to make the magic. My passion is simple. It's to help you have the best possible Disney vacation by planning for or daydreaming about that next trip down to the House of the Mouse. Thank you so very much for tuning in to WDW Opinion Live. This is where I share my expertise on all things Disney and Disney World. You can also check out our blog and podcast where I share more details with my co-hosts and with my blogging team over there at WDWopinion.com. Again, thanks for being here. If you are with us here tonight, we have a couple regulars in here like Austin. Thanks for tuning in from Orlando. And looks like we have someone from across the pond. Lynn, hello, welcome. Thank you so very much for tuning in and for being with us here live tonight. If you are watching on the replay, consider coming back every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern right here on Facebook Live, where you can chat and interact with us in real time. We have some news story to talk about today, a couple Disney WDW Opinion content pieces to talk about. But before we get started, if you are in the chat like you are with Austin and with Lynn, let us know where you're tuning in from. Say hello, interact with everybody in the chat. That's how we're going to grow the WDW Opinion community. All right, with all that being said, let's get into the news. Our first news story is a big one. Maleficent is back. Now, Maleficent the Dragon. From the Festival of Fantasy Parade, she made her re-debut, I guess you could say, earlier this week. And you're thinking, well, where did she go? Where was she? Remember, back in May, she had a little bit of a mishap, a big accident, actually. So the Festival of Fantasy Parade has been around for a while now. It's an awesome parade, and the centerpiece of that parade was always Maleficent, this dragon. She's gigantic, purple. She's got a steampunk theme going on. So there's a lot of cogs and wheels and gears. It almost looks like that's what's pushing the dragon, the float forward. But her big appeal is every once in a while, she'll raise her neck up and perfectly synced to the music will let out a fireball, basically. It worked well for years and years. People really, really liked it. But back in May, for whatever reason, that fireball kind of came back. It caught on fire, the float itself. Luckily, no one was injured in that, but the float was experienced some big problems. It was melting. You can check it out on YouTube or on social media. They're interesting videos. The cast members handled it perfectly because no one was injured, because no other areas were injured. They contained the fire and they were able to get her off stage. But for the last, 8 months now, the Disney community has been wondering, is she going to come back? When is she going to come back? Is she going to be in the same state? There were some rumors of she will return, but she won't be breathing fire anymore. And people were upset with that. Well, just last week, Disney Parks Blogs posted a video with Maleficent and saying she'll be back. She'll be back tomorrow. I think that's very cool, especially on Disney's end, because it could have been very simple for Disney to just go about, continue like everything's all hunky-dory, like nothing went wrong with it at all. They could have not acknowledged it. They could have just had it come back and said, not even acknowledge the issue or the problem that occurred. But they really jumped on it and said, no, we're going to tell you that it's coming back. We know it was an issue, but we know you guys want it back in full form, and we're going to give that to you. Disney Parks Blogs actually went crazy with it. They listed like 5 some stories, something like that, in the last week, but it also got a little bit of a revamp. So instead of just that front head like getting a refurb, the entire body got a refurb. There's nothing too different about it, but it's just cool to see kind of like a refreshing of it. This parade has been going for a while, so to see, you know, some updated colors, some new pieces added on that float. It's very cool. So what do you guys think? Is this a must-do, the Festival of Fantasy Parade, anytime you're in Magic Kingdom? Will you catch it the next time you're there? Or is Maleficent, you know, this dragon, just something you can go ride rides while everyone else is watching? It's a great downtime. You don't have to catch this parade. What is it for you? I'll say this much. I think right now Disney World is in a very state of, there's only one parade really. There's some short parades at Magic Kingdom, maybe a short parade, or you know, the Stormtrooper March in Hollywood Studios. But at one point in the early 2000s, there was almost a parade at every single theme park in Disney World. Epcot had one in the 90s, and you know, Festival of Tapestries, Festival of Nations. Mickey's Jammin' Jungle Parade was at Animal Kingdom forever. Hollywood Studios has a bunch, like Cars and Stars and the Motorcade Parade. Obviously, Magic Kingdom has had a lot, but right now they only have the Festival of Fantasy, the 3 o'clock parade, one or two little ones. People keep begging, when is it going to come back? When are we going to get more parades at Disney World? When is that parade level going to come back to Disney World? What I think I'm hearing is wait until 2021. We've been saying this for a long time now. 2021 is when Walt Disney World is going to be 50 years old. There's going to be a 50th anniversary party lasting probably the entire year. And there's probably going to be several floats coming this way. Magic Kingdom might get a nighttime parade again. It might not be Spectro Magic or the Electrical Light Parade, but it might be something like out in California, Paint the Night is very popular. They could bring something like that over to Florida. We could get another one in Animal Kingdom. Once Hollywood Studios is all said and done, maybe we get a parade there, some Star Wars vibes there. It's looking like a lot of people like the parade. Nancy, thanks so much for tuning in. She's saying the parade is great, and she's also saying they need to bring back that electrical parade. I agree with you. Magic Kingdom is always, I feel like during the day, it's completely different than when you're there at night. That goes for, without saying, for all of the parks, but that added element of Main Street, you know, Frontierland lighting up to a nighttime parade, that's something I definitely miss. I wish they would bring that parade back, or, you know, a new iteration of it. Next time I'm in Magic Kingdom, I'll definitely be catching Festival of Fantasy. I've caught it a couple times since Maleficent the Dragon was out, so I want to see that revamped float. I want to see her breathe the fire. It just warms my heart. I love to see it. Sue Brown, hello, welcome. As always, she hasn't seen this parade in a while, but she's in the camp of bring back the Electrical Light Parade. I'm telling you, I hope that they bring over the Paint the Night Parade, which was in Disneyland for a while. This was almost like the Spectro Magic on steroids. Like, it synced up very well. Your ears, they would have magic ears that you could sync up to, kind of like how they have it at World of Color and Fantasmic. I think that could be cool, but just some parade during the night at Magic Kingdom. We want it. Disney, we hope you're listening. All right, let's move on to story number 2. Also, Shane, thank you so much for tuning in. Good to see you back here on WDW Opinion Live. Story number 2 is there's new Skyliner details. So Disney's new transportation system that is coming in the fall of this year, there's new details revolving around this. The Disney Parks blog and Disney officially announced these new details in a video and blog post. So we knew that these gondolas were going to have some graphics on them, so that it looked like if you were standing on the ground and you looked up at the gondolas, it would seem like characters were riding in the gondolas with the guests that were going. We saw original ones like the Fab Five, so Mickey, Minnie, Pluto, Goofy, Donald. But then Disney has released some new ones. You can see them. Where is this? Right up here. Yeah, just right up top here. You can see Toy Story. You can see C-3PO and R2-D2. You can see Donald and Daisy, and then the Guardians of the Galaxy. You can see them as well. Disney has also announced that they're going to be bringing other characters from Beauty and the Beast, Frozen, Lilo and Stitch, Moana, Peter Pan, Princess and the Frog, Ralph Breaks the Internet, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, Zootopia, and they're going to bring in new ones from the parks as well. Like Haunted Mansion, there's going to be ghosts from there, Pirates of the Caribbean, pirates from that. I think that's cool just because it's going to be expanding across their property line. So you're going to have new stylings of Mickey Mouse, old stylings of Mickey Mouse. You're going to have Pixar, you're going to have Star Wars, Marvel, and you're going to have theme park overlays, attraction overlays on there as well. What do I anticipate this happening with this? I think these are almost going to be treated like skins in the sense that they can take them off, they can put new characters on with new films, with new attractions that are coming, kind of like they do with the monorails nowadays. I think that's very cool. Disney also released this, Disney also released this new video about what the Skyliners are going to look like, not only in the sky, but the Imagineers were talking about what the stations for each Skyliner is going to look like. So there's going to be a couple around property. This video was filmed at the Caribbean Beach Resort station, and that's going to be the biggest station on property at this point when it opens in the fall. Reason being is it's going to be 2 transfer points basically. So 2 lines are going to come in there. It's going to be like a hub, but the theming of that station is going to be like the Caribbean, so it fits in with the resort. The station at Epcot is going to be themed like the France Pavilion, like the England Pavilion, kind of that European motif, because it's going to be in the back of World Showcase at the International Gateway entrance to Epcot. So the Riviera Resort is going to be themed like that. Art of Animation, we kind of saw the, when we were there a couple months ago, we saw the new station being built there. It's going to be a lot like Pop Century, a lot like Art of Animation. It's going to tie in very well to that area. Is this something you guys are excited for, or is it something where, yeah, you might prefer a little ground transportation, as it were? What do you think? Austin, he's saying these Skyliners are going to be awesome. Oh, yes, they are. Shane, I saw this right here. This is awesome. Shane was, he, I think, attended one of our first WDW Opinion Live events a few weeks ago, and he was saying how he was applying to a job at Be Our Guest, and Shane got the job, so he's going to be a cook over at Be Our Guest. Awesome job, Shane. That's so cool. I'm jealous that you get to go down there and work in the House of the Mouse. I used to work, you know, just on the other side of Fantasyland at Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. I used to get dropped off at West Clock and then over at basically the entrance to Be Our Guest. So that is so sweet. Congratulations on that. Austin's saying nice job, Shane, as well. Listen, if anyone stops by Be Our Guest though, Shane, you gotta hook us up, man. We gotta try the gray stuff. I hear it's delicious, right? You gotta get us in there, right? You can do that. So anyways, the Skyliners, however, will not be going to Magic Kingdom for now. For me, this is something I'm very excited for because I think it's going to be a new perspective, right? Obviously, getting from point A to point B, you can do it on a bus, you can do it on a boat, you can do it in a minivan, in a car, what have you. But this new perspective of being in the air, seeing the sights like that, moving in a new fashion, I think is going to be very appealing to me, someone who's been there for a very long time. I think it's also going to be appealing because unless you've been to some random foreign countries or cities that have these systems in place, or if you've been to like Colorado or Utah and you've skied there, a gondola might be something that you've never experienced before. So I think that's a new way, kind of like the monorail is. You're not really experiencing the monorail anywhere else. You'll be able to experience the gondola when you're in Florida, when you're at Disney World. It's going to be a cool new way to get around. Very excited for that. Very excited for those new perspectives and to see how it all works. I think it's going to be very interesting there. All right, let's move on to story number 3. This is kind of a funny story. There's a new $12,000 VIP tour coming to Walt Disney World. And just to let everyone know, there's only one day of this tour. It lasts for 12 hours. So that's $1,000 an hour. And this is what you get with it. You get 2 VIP tour guides, so guest relations cast members. It's for up to 6 guests it can accommodate. For $12,000, you get backstage access and transportation. You get front of the line attraction access. I hope to God it's unlimited front of the line attraction access. A tour of Cinderella Castle Dream Suite in the Cinderella Castle. Exclusive nighttime spectacular viewing spaces. So I assume that will be, reserved seating for the fireworks at Magic Kingdom, reserved seating at Rivers of Light, Animal Kingdom, Fantasmic, Illuminations at Epcot, Fantasmic's at Hollywood Studios, obviously. All 3 meals included, so 3 a day per person with select alcohol, they're saying. Access to any restaurant at Walt Disney World, so no advanced dining reservations needed. And many more possibilities based on the guest request. I don't know what that means. I basically hope it means for $12,000 for 12 hours, you can do whatever you want. This for me is insane. $12,000 is crazy. There's clearly not enough time to accomplish everything in Walt Disney World in just 12 hours. So this for me is a serious head scratcher. Listen, I know Disney has been hawking, high-end price points for tours, for special events, for early access to select shows and stuff throughout the night. You can reserve your seat at a certain price point, dessert parties. Don't fault Disney for wanting to do this, okay? Because it has no effect on you. Not very many people are going to do this. There's not going to be hundreds of people doing this each day. It's not going to take away fast passes or dining reservations. It's going to be like one table here, a couple of fast passes here. You're probably not even going to notice these people in the park. But for $12,000, I want to stay at Cinderella's Royal Castle for a month, not just get a tour of it for 30 minutes. I hear it's cool. When I worked there, had many cast member friends who would go up there, said it was very cool, but it's just out of hand. Lynn, I think that's out of a lot of our budgets for that price point. $12,000, and guess what? Disney will cop you a break, though. If you want to do an additional day, they'll give it to you for $10,000. Easy money. $12,000 the first day, $10,000 the second day. Who knows if this will actually stick around for long? Disney's been hush-hush. It just kind of appeared, which you got to be humble about that, right? You got to be like, ugh, we don't really want to announce this or anything. I think the only icing on the cake for this would be if Disney said theme park admission not included in this $12,000 VIP tour. They didn't do that, but it would have been funny if they did. Austin couldn't agree more. Austin, if you had $12,000 to just spend willy-nilly, what would you spend it on? That's a good question. If anyone who's listening tonight had $12,000 that they could just spend whatever, what would you spend it on? Because I think that's what this is. It's people who have too much money who just aren't really certain how to go about a Disney vacation, who can plan it, because I don't think this is worth, bang for your buck. Clearly it's not, but what you can do doesn't equate to $12,000. Meals, tickets, anything like that, it's just going to, it's not going to, you're not going to get a good ROI, a good return on your investment, no matter what they give you. Shane's saying longer time at Walt Disney World. Hey, I think if I had extra $12,000, I'd stay there for an extra couple days too. I'm right there with you, Shane. I wouldn't waste it on just a 12-hour event or 12-hour tour. Down payment on a new car. Brandon, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for your comment too. You could probably get a pretty nice car too. And you could get a car that you could drive all around Disney World property as well with that cash. $12,000, I'm trying to think what I would do. I think I would have to probably put some international theme parks in there. I've always wanted to go to Tokyo Disneyland. I've also never been to Disneyland in California. I have to put that on the bucket list. But I think It's got to be one of those things. Sue Brown is saying Disney cruise. Those Disney cruises are expensive. I've only been on one. I've been on one with Sue Brown many years ago, but they're a ton of fun. That'd be a good way to spend it. Austin Lee, a week stay at the new Star Wars resort. Ooh, I forgot about that. That's cool. So if you don't know, there's a new Star Wars resort. It's not going to open for a while. It's not going to open with Galaxy's Edge, but it's going to be like you're going on a spaceship. You're going to be fully immersed there. People are saying it's going to be like a minimum $1,000 a night. There's only going to be about 150 rooms to start. There's going to be expansion pads that they're going to add to quickly, but Austin is something that the main appeal, the hardest thing to do about this Star Wars resort, I don't think is going to be the money. I think it's going to be the demand, the people that are willing to spend that $1,000. And this is why Disney can charge $12,000 for a 12-hour VIP tour. It's because they know somebody's going to do it. It's going to be good return on investment for them. So there you go, new $12,000 VIP tour. Start saving your pennies if you want to do this. Now I want to dive into some WDW opinion content we got going on. Over on the blog, I typed up an article, the top 10 quick service locations at Walt Disney World. Shane, sorry to say this, Be Our Guest did not make my top 10 quick service restaurant list. It's up there. It is up there. With breakfast, maybe. Lunch is definitely a must-do quick service, I think. Not on my list, but just in general, if you want to experience Be Our Guest and you don't want to do dinner, lunch might be the option for you. I know our co-host on the WDW Opinion podcast, Hank, and his wife Erin recently did it. They loved it. But my top 10 quick service locations is really a plea for everyone here. Everyone is, I think, obsessed in the Disney fan community about getting those advanced dining reservations, those sit-down table service reservations, whether it is Be Our Guest, whether it's something like Cinderella's Royal Table, Ohana is a big one, Chef Mickey's is a big one. These big restaurants, everyone's trying to get that reservation, and I think the appeal for it is that people are trying to get it. It's popular because it's popular. It's almost like Paris Hilton. They're good, they're very nice, but you can have a great Disney vacation by just hitting a quick service location throughout your meals, because it's one of those things where it's about bang for your buck, and it's also about getting good quality food. This isn't like a Six Flags where you're going to the quick service locations and you can only get a burger, a hot dog, or pizza. There's plenty of options at Disney World for that. There's also plenty of incredible options, quick service wise, that you can wet your beak at Walt Disney World. Shane says he loves Chicken Guy. Chicken Guy is a great new option out in Disney Springs. Guy Fieri is the celebrity chef / owner of it. Quick service, very cheap. We went on a day that we think was kind of off. There were some high notes of very good food. There were some low notes. But the more and more I keep hearing about it, people just love it, love it, love it. A lot of food at a really good price, something Disney needs more of. It's chicken fingers, it's a lot of sauces, it's sandwiches. It's a cool vibe there. Nancy with an interesting pick, Starbucks. You know, this was interesting to me because when Starbucks was first announced coming to Disney World in the parks, people were upset. But then again, you go in now every day in the morning, every day in the afternoon, every day at night, lines are always out the door for Starbucks. I think it's a comfort thing. It's knowing that it's there, it's what you like. You can get it, you can start your day off on the right foot. I'm in Starbucks starting my mornings when I'm in the parks more often than not. I find myself just gravitating towards it. That's definitely a good place to go. And they also have unique things that you can only find in a Disney Starbucks, not like in your local Starbucks. For me, I'll give you three of my top 10 quick service locations that I have in here. Number one, that takes the cake, Satu'li Canteen. This isn't just one of the best quick service restaurants at Disney World. This is one of the best restaurants, period, at Disney World right now. It's in Avatar, the World of Pandora. It's kind of by the exit of Flight of Passage. I love it because there's a lot of options with it. It's fresh, it's affordable, you get a lot of food, you get a good quality amount of food as well. Now, what you do is it's kind of like Chipotle-esque. So you go in, you pick your grains, whether it's where you pick your base, whether it's grain, rice, a salad, you pick your protein. They have tofu, chicken, beef, and then you pick your sauces that you want. I don't know how they pack so much flavor into this, but you can just tell that it's fresh. The guys that you walk by in line are cooking everything over an open flame. It's plentiful. It's great bang for your buck. It fills you up, but it doesn't slow you down. It's not like you're down in a gigantic cheeseburger, like that. It's good, energy, nutritious. I like it a lot. I like all of the drinks that are there. I like the blue cheesecake that they have at the end that you can get for dessert. It's very tasty. Lynn is saying she agrees we upgraded last year to table service, but you prefer quick service. I'm not saying quick service is better than table service. Table service is better than quick service. What I'm saying is they're definitely comparable to each other. You can get some great quick service just like you can get some great table service, but greatness isn't exclusive to table service. Quick service is a great way to go. It's cheaper. It'll probably be a lot less time. Tasty. Get up and go. Nancy, that's why we like Starbucks. You need your caffeine. Hey, I'm right there with you. Can't start my morning without it. So Satuli Canteen tops my list of favorite quick service locations. A couple other ones over in Epcot, two that might not be as well known. One is the Yorkshire County Fish and Chips. Now, it's not the best fish and chips on property. I'd give that to Raglan Road, the sit-down table service. But this is a place that does literally two things. It does fish and it does chips. And they do them very, very well. I think when you're working your way around Epcot, and you might be partaking in some adult beverages, fried food can always help in that regard. I think this is great because it's fried. It's definitely not nutritious, but it's consistently good. I love it because it's just always boom, grab it, go, eat it, you're done. It's in the UK pavilion, so there's plenty of seating kind of outside there. There's plenty of, trash cans you can just pull up. I like going out in the back of the UK pavilion where they have that tea garden, sitting there, gnawing down on this. I like Yorkshire County Fish and Chips Shop. Also in Epcot, but not in the World Showcase, is Sunshine Seasons over at the Land. I love this place because of the freshness, because it's not something you expect in a quick service dining location. A lot of things that are made that are grown in the Land are served at Sunshine Seasons. It's seasonal, as the name implies, fresh and unique. There are food items there that you won't get anywhere else on property, that you might not get anywhere else in the world, because it's fresh, because it's kind of that same Satuli Canteen vibe of it won't weigh you down, but it'll fill you up. That's why I give it a high praise, a high nod. Austin is saying he loves Raglan Road, absolutely. And Shane is saying Raglan Road is great too. If you do like the fish and chips at Raglan Road, but you don't want to sit down and have the meal, right next door on the back side of Raglan Road, as you're looking kind of towards the springs now, like the water area, they have, I always forget the name of it. I think it's Cooks of Dublin, yeah. It's basically the same stuff. You can get all the fried food. It shares the kitchen, I believe, with Raglan Road. I still think the sit-down version fish and chips is better, just because, like Austin was saying, it's the whole vibe. You see the Irish dancers. You're in this Irish bar. So that's why I think it takes the nod versus Cooks of Dublin. But that's another great option for fish and chips, for the fish and chipped inclined. So those are our top 10 quick service locations. Head over to Facebook and let us know what you think what your favorite quick service dining location is. We got a couple posts with this blog post on there, so you can just comment right along there. Moving on, I also want to talk about the podcast episode this week, episode 27. So last week, Hank and I, my co-host, we took a walking tour of Disney's Coronado Springs Resort. On this episode, we actually sat down and gave our full review of Disney's Coronado Springs Resort. What's interesting about this is we love the resort. Everything about it we like. When we're there, we're like, this is nice, this is good. But there's still something there, something missing that would put it over the top for us. What we came to realize is it was like a hominess, a quaintness. It needed a little something extra for us personally to make us want to have it be our first option. What I mean by this is when we're looking at places to stay, it always comes up where Coronado works out for a good price point. So we're always like, do it. Let's go for it. But it's never our first option. Once we get there, we're blown away by it. We love it. It's great, but it's still missing something that would make it be this is our home resort. Shane's saying it's his home resort. I totally understand why it could be. It's beautiful. The dig site is awesome. I love the lobby. I think the new rooms there, they're all newly renovated, are breathtaking. They're awesome rooms. Very, very, very great. Granite countertops, gigantic TVs. It's just very elegant. So that I think is a big benefit for that resort. I think overall, Lynn, I'm glad you brought this up because I was just going to get to this. The new tower at Coronado Springs, it's going to fundamentally change that resort. No doubt about it. You can't put in a 500-room addition and not have that resort change. I think that homeliness that we're missing is, that home vibe or something that we're missing might come with this new tower. And let me explain. This new tower, the Gran Destino Tower, will become the new lobby, the new hub for it, and at the very top, you're going to get a new restaurant on whatever the top floor is. I want to say it's like 15, something like that. That could do it. But in the center of Lago Dorado, which is the lake there, they're building a restaurant there as well, a restaurant and bar. They're putting in pathways so that getting from point A to point B, you can actually walk across the water. I think that restaurant could change this resort for me. If it's something where it's like dockside margaritas out in Disney Springs, which is a great place, or the newly opened Sebastian's at Caribbean Beach, if it has those sort of vibes to it, I think this will make this resort a place that I will continue to stay at, right? Well, I'll look forward to booking it. I'll go out of my way to book it and stay there. But also with that tower comes a lot more people. So hopefully it means more buses on that circulation. There's the same amount of pools. There's going to be the same amount of space. It might be overwhelming with the amount of people that are going to be there. I think the tower itself is going to be beautiful. I think the artist renderings we've seen as of late, they're getting better and better. So for me, it's time will tell when it comes to the tower. That's opening up this summer. Hopefully we'll be able to get out there relatively soon after that just to check it out, not necessarily to stay, but I do want to try those new restaurants. I like Coronado Springs a lot. It needs one other element for me to go full in on Coronado Springs, I think. But we discussed it more in this week's episode. We also discussed a couple cool points about Galaxy's Edge that we found out. One is that it might have a single rider line, which could be very cool. And another is that Star Wars Galaxy's Edge Rise of the Resistance could be 28 minutes in length. 28 minutes in length. That would be awesome. If an attraction is 28 minutes in length, you know what? Over at Hollywood Studios, the Great Movie Ride, that has been recently closed in the last few years to make way for Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, that was 22 minutes long. So that was a big ride. But with Rise of the Resistance, I think you're going to get an overall experience of 28 minutes. So there's going to be a few cutting through lines there, meaning like staying in the queue is going to count as your ride time. It's going to be weird, but we think you're going to get on a vehicle, to get off a vehicle, to get in a line, to get on another vehicle. It's kind of complicated. What this means is we're going to have to redefine what it means to ride an attraction. There's going to be elements of you get on a piece of transportation to get to the attraction. There's going to be elements of once you get off that first piece of transportation, you're going to then walk through the line, walk through a starship maybe, in order to get to the final destination. So overall, it's going to be a very unique experience, and 28 minutes, that's going to be awesome. That's going to be well worth the wait. I mean, these wait times are going to get very, very, very high, but when I worked on Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, people would always say, is the 2.5 hour wait worth the ride? And I'd say, well, it's a 2.5 minute ride. So you got to kind of pick and choose there. Now, if you say, is the 2.5 hour wait worth the ride? And you tell me, well, the ride's 28 minutes in length, I'll think, that seems like good bang for your buck. I can wait that long in order to experience something that lasts that long. So that's what I'm looking forward to. Who knows if time will tell if that ride is going to actually be that long. It looks like Austin still can't get the name of his favorite movie or his favorite attraction right. It's just the Great Movie Ride, Austin. You don't need to put American in there. I know you will always do that, but it's the Great Movie Ride. But he can't wait for Star Wars Galaxy's Edge either. Lynn is saying she prefers Port Orleans Riverside. Lynn, I used to stay there when I was a wee one, and it was called Dixie Landings. I still love going over there, but again, I think what Riverside has that Coronado Springs doesn't is that homey feel to it. You gotta feel at peace. Yeehaw Bob is there. That's something that you can't experience anywhere else across property. Yeehaw Bob is this kind of piano playing entertainer. He's in the River Roost Lounge at Port Orleans Riverside. So I think that's the appeal of that resort that everyone seems to go back to time and time again. Hopefully I'll be able to stay there soon so we can do a review for you guys as well when it comes to Port Orleans Riverside. But if you want to know about our Coronado Springs full review, we talk about some Star Wars stuff in there, as well as a few other things. Go to wdwopinion.com/episode 27. You can listen to the full podcast there. And if you are listening to the podcast, please rate and review it on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, wherever you listen to podcasts. It'll help other people find the show, and it'll help grow the community. Also, if you are watching here on Facebook, thank you so very much. If you're watching on the replay, thank you so very much. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at WDW Opinion. We've been posting a lot of great stuff there. Go over to WDWopinion.com, sign up for our weekly email newsletter so that you'll get all the WDW Opinion content delivered right to your inbox each and every week. Everyone, I think that's going to do it for me this week. Thank you so very much for joining me to discuss all these awesome things like the $12,000 VIP tour, like the new Skyliner system, like Maleficent coming back to the Festival of Fantasy. Guys, it means the world that you tune in to watch me and interact with each other in the comments section each and every week. Shane, we'll see you next week. Congrats again on the BR guest job. That is so awesome. Thanks again, everyone, for tuning in. I hope you have an incredible week. And until next time, I'll see you real soon.